Welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year. Today, I'm going to take you through a journey that transformed my life literally and figuratively. I managed to pay off almost $200,000 of student loan debt in just 1.5 years. As of December 28th, 2023, I have officially reached a student loan balance of $0. In this video, I'm going to share more than just my story. I'm going to give you a blueprint so you too can take control of your financial future. If you're new here, my name is AC. I'm a full-time doctor, a finance enthusiast, and a part-time YouTuber. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start off with some facts about student loan debt in the United States. As of 2023, the total amount had reached $1.75 trillion. This is only second to the mortgage industry in terms of consumer debt. Over 44 million Americans hold student loan debt, and the average loan amount is approximately $30,000 amongst new graduates. And in terms of medical school debt, the loan burden is even higher. The average amount amongst borrowers is close to $200,000. And as it turns out, when it comes to student loan debt, I was average. When I graduated medical school, I had approximately $195,000 of student loans. During residency, I was just making the minimum payments. Especially because of the COVID pause, all of the interest rates were zero. But as I got closer and closer to graduation, I was sufficiently freaked out about my student loans. I knew this was a massive amount of debt, and I knew it would have a major impact on my life. I would have to delay buying a car, buying a home, and most importantly, it would have a huge negative impact on my mental health. The bottom line is, when you have this huge amount of debt, you're forced to work whether you like it or not. You have to make more than just the minimum payments to even get ahead. The first step is to just set a goal. I graduated residency on July 1st, 2022. My goal was to pay off my student loans in just 2 years. I knew this was a lofty goal and I would have to break it down further to get there. Unfortunately for me, I had just finished reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. In his book, he mentions that there are 3 layers of behavior change. The most superficial is the outcomes layer. The inner layer is where you focus on the processes, and the core of behavior change is focusing on your identity. When you ask yourself this deeper question of why do I really want to achieve this goal, it's much easier to stick to the process along the way. The first step for me was redefining my identity. When I first entered medical school and residency, I was an altruistic person, a caring doctor, and a compassionate human. But by the end of residency, I was so burnt out that I had lost some of these characteristics. The COVID pandemic did not help, and it was the brunt of my training. The hours were much longer, I wasn't really able to see my family or friends, and at the height of the pandemic, there was so much morbidity and mortality that I truly lost hope at one point. It got so bad that at the end of my intern year, I almost quit residency. I even wrote up a letter to my PD with my resignation and was almost about to hit send. Thankfully, one of my good friends told me to sleep on the decision, and the very next day, I deleted the email and ended up continuing residency. I finally graduated in 2022, but that feeling of burnout didn't go away. Once I graduated residency, I knew that my financial burden was taking a hit on my mental health and in turn leading to more burnout. When physicians are burned out, they're less empathetic, they're more cynical, and they're less present with their patients. So with this new identity in mind, I finally had the right motivation to tackle this goal. The second step outlined by James Clear is to focus on the process. My favorite quote from Atomic Habits states the following: "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." No matter how much motivation you have, you don't have the right steps and the process is set up, you will fail. It's that simple. Embracing my new identity and goals, I decided to automate the process. At the end of each month, money would automatically be transferred into a high-yield savings account and I would never see it. This was a game changer. I no longer needed to think about it on a daily basis. All I had to do was continue to put in the work. In addition, this was when the interest rates were still zero, so it was very easy to just ignore student loan debt. In hindsight, I'm really glad I took this approach because when the rates started to kick back in, I was ready to pay off the majority of my student loan debt right away. And we already talked about the most superficial layer of behavior change, the outcomes. The outcome here was to pay off my loans in 2 years, 24 months. That's all I had. Having this deadline, it created a sense of urgency, but also created a tangible goal. It turned a daunting task into a more manageable and exciting challenge. Now, let's dive right into the numbers. For this section, I'm going to provide average salary numbers for hospital physicians because I want to maintain some level of anonymity. I will be transparent with all my other fixed costs and savings, so this is an accurate look into the numbers. The starting balance of my student loans were $199,000, and if you divided it into 24 equal payments, that number came out to approximately $8,125 per month. My other fixed costs included things like rent, utilities, car insurance, phone bills, and food. My rent and utilities combined for approximately $2,500 per month. Car insurance was approximately $150 per month. and groceries were approximately $600 per month. With all of the other miscellaneous costs, my fixed costs ended up being approximately $3,500 monthly. I also wanted to max out my 403b annually, and that would require another $22K annually or $1,800 monthly. So if you add up all of these categories, it comes out to be approximately $13,425 monthly. Now, the average hospitalist salary is approximately $255,000, and net salary after taxes is approximately $13,000 monthly. So this was a problem. The budget was too high. I hadn't even accounted for miscellaneous costs, neither did I account for things like leisure. So I took a step back and tried to figure out a way to remedy the solution. I had already saved up $10,000 in an emergency fund. I knew that I was getting a signing bonus, and there was a chance to get a productivity bonus at the end of the year. So with this new information in mind, I changed my target goal from $199,000 to $150,000, hoping that these bonuses would cover the additional cost. On a monthly basis, this comes out to $6,400 monthly, and with the fixed cost of $3,500, the new total would be $9,900. With an average hospital salary of $13,000, there was finally some flexibility in the budget. All of a sudden, this felt much more manageable. And so in July 2022, I made my first transfer of $6,500 and was committed to continue this until my student loans were paid off. Things were going well in the first couple of months. Motivation was high and I was excited to be on this new journey. But after a few months, the novelty started to wear off and I was less excited. Nobody really talks about this part of the journey. I'm gonna call it the hard middle. As my plan kicked into high gear, I quickly realized the journey wasn't going to be easy. While my other friends were out there making big purchases like homes, cars, and going on extravagant vacations, I couldn't help but feel a little bit jealous. And here I was, still feeling the weight of my student loans and wasn't really able to partake in any of those things. After 10 years of medical school and residency, it really seemed unfair that I couldn't indulge in some of these experiences as well. But then I reminded myself of the bigger picture. I focused on my identity and my future self. The freedom from debt wasn't just about the money. It was about regaining my time, my choices, and my life. To stay motivated, I found it crucial to celebrate the small wins along the way. In his book, James Clear talks about habit stacking and positive reinforcement. If you're able to pair a positive habit with a required habit, it's much more sustainable in the long run. My guilty pleasure? Having bubble tea anytime I wanted during the work week, and also scheduling a restaurant reservation at the end of each work week. This way, there was always a reward to look forward to at the end of each work week, and that made it much more sustainable. Besides financial goals, I set personal ones as well. I wanted to have a more dedicated gym routine, I wanted to read more, and I wanted to pursue my YouTube career a little bit more. These goals became my new hobbies, my new source of satisfaction. And interestingly enough, as I pursued these non-monetary goals, the journey became a lot easier. It was actually fun. So think about this hard middle more like a journey and not an ends to a means. This phase taught me about resilience, the value of delayed gratification, and the joy of finding happiness in the simple, non-materialistic aspects of life. In reality, none of this would have been possible without a community. I had the support of my friends and family along the way, and that made all of the difference. In his book, Atomic Habits, James Clear emphasizes the power of community in sustaining habits. It's much easier to commit to a task if it's normalized within a community. Luckily for me, I had a group of like-minded friends from medical school, and we all had the same goal in mind. They understood the sacrifices that we had already made, and the sacrifices that we continue to make, and we just continue to push each other every step of the way. I urge each and every one of you to find a buddy, a partner, or a community to share the journey with. It makes it so much easier and will keep you accountable. And you don't necessarily need to have the same exact goal in mind. If one of you is saving for student loans, another one might be saving for a car, another one might be saving for a house, you all are saving for a particular reason. And having a community to share in your successes, even the struggles, makes the journey so much more rewarding. It's a shared experience, and at the end, a collective triumph when you finally succeed. Now, fast forward 18 months, it's December 2023, and I found myself on the precipice of a life-changing moment. I was finally able to pay off the entire $195,000 student loan balance in one go. The feeling of making that final payment was unreal. It was a mixture of relief, pride, and a deep sense of accomplishment. I'd finally taken control of my financial destiny, and it was truly empowering. Now, you might be wondering, how did I manage to close that gap so quickly? I was 6 months early. As it turns out, I was able to save a little bit more aggressively, approximately $7,500 per month. In addition, I picked up quite a few moonlighting shifts to close the gap, and I also moved to a lower cost of living area to save a little bit more money. Looking back, I wouldn't change a single thing. I was still able to enjoy the 18 months, but I also had learned so many valuable lessons. In addition, I finally had the peace of mind that I was looking for. I was no longer chained to my student loan debt. I could finally decide where to work, how much to work, and how to live my life. I finally had the freedom to make my own life choices. I hope this video inspired some of you to take control of your financial future. For me, the plan is to continue saving and slowly increase my lifestyle to make sure that I'm spending money on things that bring me true happiness. If you're interested in how to spend money guilt-free, you should check out my other video here where I talk about a conscious spending plan from Ramit Sethi's new book. Anyways, guys, have a great day. I'll see you next time. Peace.